Sometimes they just wake up and they're like, yawn, oh, what a beautiful morning. Kind of want to gut somebody. I mean, that's when my demons get me, is in the middle of the night.
Honestly, this is not the worst I've appeared on the internet.
My brain hates it. It's time to start another reading vlog. And this time we're doing new and upcoming releases because, oh my God, there's so many. And I just want to lean into the chaos. Sound good? I don't know for sure which books I'm going to be picking up for this vlog. I know for sure the first book is going to be Runaways by Elle Mitchell that is releasing on June 2nd. I have an art copy of it. I'm in the middle of it now. I'll explain why I have no clips up to this point in a second. The second book will probably be Born for Lace by Nikki Harris that is releasing next week my time. So it's like April 14th, I think. Not April, May. Oh no, we did a quantum time leap. May 14th. That's when that's releasing. Very excited for that one. Dystopian, sci-fi, fantasy feeling. And then releasing that same week, I can't remember if it's on the 15th or on the 17th. My 2 brain cells that I have left after being sick are not doing so hot. There's going to be errors. Oh, we have a guest. Hi, Kevin. So the third likely book will be My Favorite Bad Decision by Elizabeth O'Rourke, which is more like a outdoor hiking survival with my enemy kind of thing. I don't know. You look so handsome. Look at you. What a beautiful boy. So those will most likely be the books that I am talking about in this video. However, I'm also currently reading, because I have no self-control, The Things We Water by Mariana Zapata. I don't know what to tell you. At all times, I must be reading 4 books, but because that one is so long, I just think it's going to take me too long to get through it. That may make an appearance. I don't know for sure. I don't have high confidence that I want to finish it while I'm finishing this vlog. But good news. I'm already like 40% into Runaways by Elle Mitchell. I would have recorded a clip sooner, but I have been very sick. And by very sick, I mean just like extremely fatigued and have a horrible cough. I did attempt to film some clips earlier. No one needs that. Ghost lips, hamster eyes, greasy hair, no voice, squeaking and cracking all over the place. If I don't even want to subject myself to it, I'm certainly not going to subject you to it. So here we are with an update at almost a halfway point. So what is Runaways, you might be asking yourself? So it's an MFM. I never remember what order to put the letters in. It's Menage. There's 3 of them. They've been friends since childhood. They kind of have like a rough upbringing. None of their families like have a ton of money, and they've been really close friends until it just like starts developing into more. The bad news is our heroine Noah has to move away because her mom just got a new rich boyfriend and they're moving in with him like about 40 minutes, an hour away. They're not going to be around each other. And in the process of saying goodbye, Noah is slighted by one of the boys and she cannot forgive them for what he said. So she breaks all ties with anyone from her past life and just restarts. Here's the problem though. There's a little bit of overlap between Noah's life and the boy's life. There's an incident that sort of brings them back together because the boys want revenge. Like slasher film level revenge. And this whole incident ends up making the news. They believe, however, that Noah's not a victim, that she's actually an accomplice, that she is actually their final girl. And they will stop at nothing to make sure she's gone. Oh my gosh, this book is so interesting so far. I don't even know how to sum up how I feel about it because as I'm reading it, I'm like, I don't think I should be liking this. I'm gonna be honest. I actually think I'm kind of a bad person for liking this because you're cheering on the villains in a slasher flick. So it feels like wrong just on this gut level to be on their side. There are pretty distinct personalities between the boys, Silas and Tate. So there's entirely different relationships among the 3 of them, which I have been really liking. And Noah, love her to bits. Classic Elle Mitchell. She's a sad girl. She just wants to be seen. She just wants to be loved, but just seems to have the worst luck ever. What makes her so interesting is that she already felt isolated with all these people around her that just like couldn't show up the way she needed them to really just be all in, love her out loud. And so then when she goes on the run, because she's trying to get away from the boys, the isolation makes it even worse. The paranoia makes it even worse because around every corner lurks danger. I think this is probably the strongest start that Elle Mitchell has ever had to one of her books. Usually one of my critiques with Elle Mitchell is that she takes a little second to warm up. She takes a couple chapters. It's usually like a little clunky or a little stiff or the dialogue feels weird or it feels like we're trying really hard to hit certain beats and then she like relaxes into the book. That did not happen here. It was like she knew who the characters were. She was able to just write them straight out the gate how she wanted to, because you're coming into the relationship almost mid-relationship before the big breakup, before the big betrayal. So you get to see their dynamic. That also means we're getting spice really early on. So if you don't like that, just a heads up. I feel like it's placed well though. Like, I think it makes sense for the characters, for the scenes. It doesn't feel like we're missing the emotional components in order to just like serve spiciness. So far, I'm absolutely loving this book. I would have read it so much quicker if I wasn't so sick and also trying to read Things We Watered by Mariana Zapata at the same time. Look, I will never be held responsible for any of my actions. I will continue to choose violence every time. That's where I'm at for the moment. I'm hoping to finish this book today. My husband is out of town. I'm still kind of recovering from being sick, so I don't really want to be around people. So I have a couch day, and I could not be more excited about it. So I'm going to get reading on that and update you on how I'm feeling about Runaways by Elle Mitchell. See you soon.
Why, hello there. Bit of a rating update for you. It's the same day. So I'm now like 60% in, and I just wanted to give like a brief update. We are joined by the illustrious, the sleepy, and mildly stinky Kevin. So at this point in the book, even though I've only read about like 20% since I last updated you, I do feel like the spice is starting to derail the story just a little bit. It seems like it's popping up in pretty much every scene, although I do feel like these would be characters that would be engaging a lot of activities. It is starting to derail the story just a little bit because like right now I have so many questions. Are the boys here for nefarious reasons? Are they here to help her out? Are they still coming after her? Are they not? Are they lulling her into a false sense of security? I don't know. And I get that there needs to be a little bit of tension and build, but I feel like the spice isn't adding to that tension necessarily. It's just making me more frustrated that I don't have answers, that I'm not getting dialogue, that I'm not getting interactions where I can kind of start to suss out maybe what's going on a little bit and look for those little hints. So that's that. The other thing that I did want to say, if you are unaware for any reason, I am an Elle Mitchell super fan. I've gone through most of her backlist, so I have a pretty good sense of how this fits into her body of work. And this is probably the darkest book I think she has released. Now, I said that about her previous release, which was the Gods of Tomorrow duet. This is darker. That one was really sinister. There was like a secret society. There is a lot of death and violence and blood and gore, but I feel like there was attempts to distance the main characters from the actual violence a little bit. And when they are, it's like, but it was justified. I feel like there was like more attempts to kind of like soften the blow there. Here, I just don't feel like that's happening. The guys are sociopaths, so sometimes they just wake up and they're like, yawn, oh, what a beautiful morning. Kind of want to gut somebody. You're seeing the main characters up close and personal when they're executing this kind of stuff. They're taking pleasure in it. They're excited about it. There's like a thin veil of justification a lot of times. Sometimes these people are just in the wrong place. They're in the wrong place at the wrong time. I think if you liked the Gods of Tomorrow duet though, you'll probably like this one. I'm gonna keep reading. I'm hoping I'm gonna finish this still today. Can she do it? Probably not. Let's find out.
Why, hello there. So it's the next day. I did end up finishing Runaways by Elle Mitchell yesterday. However, I was finishing it right as I needed to go pick my husband up from the airport. So I was like reading my Kindle and like pulling my sweatshirt over my head and like grabbing my purse and putting my sunglasses on and like trying to run out the door. So I didn't have a chance to update you. But since he had just gotten home from a trip, I wanted to spend time with my husband. But it's the next day. Here we are. What a book. That last chunk was so emotional. We had so much to work through with this throuple because there's multiple relationships that have different dynamics to work through rather than just like a single couple. There's literally 3 relationships that we're dealing with and then them all together and how those 3 relationships like feed into one another. I will admit, I definitely got misty-eyed at one point. The HEA felt well earned, and it kind of had this like very soft closure to things because it was really about wrapping up those interpersonal relationships. That said, I feel a little bit conflicted about this book for a couple reasons. One, there's just something in me as someone who is a big true crime fan that is having a really hard time realizing that I am fully rooting for the criminal. I'm rooting for the villain. These are not good people. Unequivocally not good people. I mean, that aside, that's an element with a lot of dark romances. I think this just felt grittier, more real, rather than some of them feel very sensationalized or rom-com-y even. The other reason I'm feeling a little bit conflicted is because there was that lull that I mentioned in the middle. I think like the first 50% and maybe the last 20% were very strong, but there was this chunk in the middle. It felt like we quite literally lost the plot. You kind of lost track of like what people's motives were, how all of this tied into what happened in the beginning of the book. There wasn't really a big incorporation of a police investigation. There wasn't anything coming up on TV where they had reignited the investigation or someone was talking about the crime and talking about how it was being framed in the media a little bit more in comparison to what had actually happened. There was references to it, but it wasn't as big of a part of that portion of the book. And I felt like we quite literally, as I said, lost the plot a little bit. But it comes back towards the end and, you know, it all gets tied together. But at the same time, I still really love the characters. I still love their dynamic because I think that's really Elle Mitchell's strong suit is the characters. And if you love a sad bitch, she will deliver for you every single time, because she gives you the loners, she gives you the isolated, she gives you the no one quite understands me. I'm thinking it's a rating of 4.5 stars. That's where I'm landing with that book. I now have one day while I wait for Born for Lace to come out by Nikki Harris. I'm so excited to be back in a dystopian world. Oh my God, I'm like frothing at the mouth. She's been posting teasers and it's like all I can think about right now. I'm gonna read The Things We Water by Mariana Zapata. Just an update on that, because why not? I'm like 30% in now. I'm buddy reading it with Sam from Sam Reads Little, and we're both kind of like, this is like cute, but it's so slow. And the thing that sucks is like 30% in on a 700-page book is over 200 pages. So that part's been a little bit painful. But I'm going to sign off here and I will let you know when I get my mitts on Born for Lace and we will get reading that bad boy.
Okay, also, because I have absolutely no self-control. I've already started and mostly finished an edit for Runaways. Sorry if the camera is like a little bit shaky. I've just had so much coffee. This was so hard to find royalty-free photos for, but once I had like direction for what I wanted to do, it just got out of control so quickly. And now I have 3 slightly different versions of the same edit, and I don't know which one I like more. I'm having such a hard time. So I have those for like the front one. I'm still deciding which one I like best. And then I've got just a few little guys here to do some quote slides. And I'm so excited. This is turning out so good. Oh, also, because I have no self-control, I have another version of this too. But I think I'm going to go with this one because I think this looks spookier. That's all I'm doing here. I wanted to show you my edit because I'm like real fucking proud of it. Anyway, I'm just babbling. I should probably be reading. I'm gonna go do that.
It's me. I'm back. It's been no time for you, but it's been a couple days for me because work picked up for some reason and I just haven't had as much time to read or update you as I had hoped, which is sad. And hopefully is not a trend that continues because I have to eyeball read all these because they're new releases. I have gotten 50% into Born for Lace. Before I jump into thoughts and feelings, let me tell you what it's about. So this is somewhere between like a fantasy and a sci-fi dystopian. It's an interconnected series. This is technically the second book, but these are like super interconnected. So far, there's not a lot of like overlap in the storylines or characters or anything like that. In this world, modern society was ravaged by climate change, genetic engineering, civil war. It's ruined society. So what's risen up in its place is this dystopia. Basically, there is the trade, and the trade is something that assigns people to different roles in exchange for fulfilling this role that they assign to you. They provide you food, shelter, safety. Basically, people are raised from birth to do whatever trade they're assigned. Because outside of this society, you can have full free will. The only problem is there's a red wind that's just going at all times. So it's like really hard to survive in that. And then also there's cannibals that could attack you at any time. So not a good time out there. You kind of want to be in this society. You want to be protected. This is where we find our gal Dahlia. And Dahlia is a lace girl. So this is a newer position that has recently been instituted. And it's meant as a mental health position. Her job is to be a companion, to relieve, to soothe. In what capacity, I will not say much, but it does have a bit of a Handmaid's Tale type of vibe. When the book opens, it starts off with a bang. Oh my word. First scene. Gunshots going on outside. Her friend has just given birth. There's blood everywhere, screaming baby. Her friend's like, I'm basically dying because like that was some rough stuff. You need to take my baby and get out of here. Here's the name of a guy. He's gonna help you. And then she goes, bleh, and she's out. So now Dahlia's like, okay, crap. So she's like hoofing it out of there, and she just happens to run into him by the grace of Lady Gaga. Thus begins her life on the run with these two guys. They are grumpy and brutish, especially Lagos. He's the grumpiest and brutyish. Sure, why not? That's a word now. And he's so annoyed with the fact that she's so naive, because think about it. She hasn't experienced very much. She's always done her trade or been training for her trade. And so she doesn't have a lot of experience with the outside world, which just drives him absolutely bonkers. So this, honestly, because of how it started out and because we're on the run the entire time and trying to escape danger, your heart rate's up because you don't know what's dangerous, what's normal for this world. You don't really know how it operates because Dahlia doesn't know how it operates. The heroine and the hero actually don't have a ton of interactions up to like maybe the 20 to 25% mark, and then it slowly ramps up to the point that if I didn't know who was the hero out of these two guys, I would have thought it was the other guy, to be fully honest. The other thing that I thought was really interesting, we also didn't get his perspective until we were like a third of the way in, and his perspective is in these short little chapters. They're not very long. I think we've only gotten like maybe 2 chapters of his perspective, which I'm liking. I prefer single POV. I don't mind dual, but a lot of times I just find dudes' thoughts in books just makes me dislike them. I don't necessarily want to know what's going on in their head. I want the mystery of like trying to figure it out with the heroine. So I like that we're kind of keeping that perspective to a minimum. So far, I am really enjoying this. I've had moments where I've been gasping. Every scene just feels so intense because there is something around every corner when you're on the run like this. I'm really excited to see where it goes next because we just are like on the move to a new community or a new place. And I have a feeling this is when it's going to start ramping up and start getting a lot spicier because we've had like a couple moments, but nothing crazy just yet. I am going to try and finish this bad boy. I'm hoping by the weekend so then I can start my favorite bad decision. But I'm a little bit worried that I won't be able to because I kind of end up packing my schedule a little bit more than I intended. Tonight, I'm going to dinner with a friend because we do like monthly catch-ups. Friday, I have to get my hair done because, I mean, she is just scraggles. She's a little bit crusty from being on the road and using hotel hair dryers and stuff, so I'm excited to get that trimmed up. And then Saturday, my friends are doing their courthouse wedding, so we're doing a dinner celebration after that. So that's gonna take up a good chunk of the day as well. So we'll see how much I can get to. Fingers crossed it isn't too bad. I also need to film and edit a video. I need to eat some lunch because my stomach is growling so bad and I hope it didn't pick up on the mic. All right, see you soon. So I am reading this morning. As you can see, we have my cuddle companion, Kevin, here. I'm just reading before work, hence the terrible lighting and really beautiful angle that I have propped you up at. But I needed to talk about the page that I just read. I had to highlight a couple of things. So context here. In this scene, they are resting for the night and she is laying like the normal ways on the bed and he is kind of like draped over like the bottom half, like laying at the foot, like they're T-shaped. Does that make sense? So she's up and she's thinking thoughts. I mean, that's when my demons get me, is in the middle of the night. So, I mean, go off, queen. She says, help me, I'm completely and utterly falling in love with this emotionally unavailable inhuman male. We love a self-aware queen. Most dudes in these books are just grunting Neanderthals. She's like, yeah, I know he's just not capable of it. However, the scene continues. It's dim here, but I can see that he's bare-chested, only wearing briefs. I can't tell the color, but a long bulge lays over his thigh, like he grew a forearm from his groin. Everything in my body clenched up. Talk about fisting. Actually, let's not talk about that. I need to go. I'm struggling to process this scene. I'm having a time with this book. It do be a good one. I'm gonna go. I need to cut myself off. What am I doing here still?
Hi, surprise. I know it looks like it's the same day. It's not. It's the next day. And what is going on with my hair? Honestly, this is not the worst have appeared on the internet, however, which is shocking. Sorry that I'm whispering. My husband was at a concert last night, and so he is not awake at the moment, which means I've been a little couch gremlin, and I've just been reading on my little Kindle here that's sitting in its holder in my little reading corner on my couch. Okay, so the section that I'm in right now, we're getting to know the hero better, which is, I'm gonna be honest, really needed because he's kind of one of those like grunty, grouchy, you shouldn't want to be with me type of guys, which is hot. However, there's one thing that's starting to bother me, and I really hope it gets explained in this section. Now we're getting his backstory mostly, like why he's a traumatized little boy. Well, he's not little, he's 7 feet tall. Again, not the point. I'm so sidetracked. I've had a little bit of coffee, can you tell? So here's the problem. I get that he probably has trauma and maybe even sciencey reasons for why he's not really involved with the baby, but he's like not really stepping up in that department. And here's the other problem. The other, I was gonna say hero, the other male main character, He is making sure that baby's taken care of. He's making sure mama's taken care of. And the other guy, the only thing that he is offering to the storyline is virility and eggplant. You know what I'm saying? So I'm really hoping that I find something in his background at this point that makes me like him more. And I'm getting really scared. I'm getting really scared that this is going to be like some of the love triangle books that I read where I just pick the wrong guy. I like the wrong person that they just never end up with. And then I'm just sad. So send good vibes. Prayers to Lady Gaga. Okay, bye.
Hi. So I end up finishing Born for Lace yesterday. It was raining, like pouring rain. So all I did was couch gremlin it up. I was reading my books. I end up finishing Born for Lace. I watched some cute kids movies. I cuddled with Kevin, who's actually sitting like right down here on my foot. He might pop into frame. Honestly, he seems kind of comfy, so he might not. But anyways, in case you see my hand moving, I'm petting his little head. But final thoughts on Born for Lace. Did not love it as much as the first book, but still really enjoyed it. I think part of it was that I just was not fully in love with Lagos because Lagos was not fully in love with the fact that the heroine had a baby. And that was just kind of hard because part of what I like when it's a single mom, I just love when the hero comes in, he's like, I've got both of you. And here's the thing, Tomar delivered that, not Lagos. Justice for Tomar. I hope he gets a book because honestly, even like right up until the end, even though we were kind of getting the like, oh no, he's got some trauma, I felt like Tomar was doing a better job of taking care of the heroine. And I was like, I want that for her. I also think that maybe I needed more of Lagos's That can't possibly be right. I needed more of the hero's backstory from his perspective because honestly, I was like, he's a little bit of a dick in the last 25% or so. No, it was probably a little less than that. Oh, we got his backstory and I was like starting to feel a little bit softer towards him, starting to feel a little bit more about maybe why he wasn't helping out as much with the baby. But I just had such a hard time getting over the fact that he wasn't like fully invested with the heroine until like right towards the end. I still love this world though. It's so fun. I love this world so much. I think maybe I was missing some of the world too because we were kind of only in a couple places for the most part. So maybe I was missing the world? I don't know. Like I said, I'm grasping at straws. I still really had a good time. I'm so excited for the next book in the series. I really love this series. That first book was such a banger, it's kind of hard to follow up. Oh, also, our heroine at one point has a broken rib, and that was something that was consistent throughout the book. But one thing that threw me out really hard was that she was having issues. They would be like driving around and like her ribs would hurt. And I was like, yeah, that sounds absolutely miserable and painful. But then she sneezed and nothing was said. Wouldn't that be painful too? Wouldn't that jostle the rib, that sudden movement? Anyway, that's not here nor there. Okay, so then I moved on to my favorite bad decision. I'm not that far in, so I don't have a ton of updates for you, but I will say I'm enjoying it so much. Did I say I'm 25% in? Well, I am. Our favorite bad decision? No, my favorite bad decision. Collectively, it's our favorite bad decision, but the title is my favorite bad decision. Okay, I need to stop. So, our heroine's dad is like a CEO, and he sends her on an assignment which involves going to hike Mount Kilimanjaro. When she gets there, she runs into someone that in the blurb was described as like her family's nemesis or something like that. It's not quite that deep. His name is Miller West, and he is the ex-boyfriend of her sister Marin from like years ago, like when they were in their early 20s. They were together for a summer and then he broke up with her via text. And our heroine has not forgiven him since. In general, she's just very protective and a little
little bit jaded when it comes to romance because she's watched her mom, her dad, and her sister go gaga over people when they're initially dating someone or getting together with someone, and then over time watched how that's just disintegrated and they've ended up with these horrible partners that are just the worst. And she was like, love is like not for me. I need to keep it this far away. And she's also very protective of her mom and sister because of that too, where she's like kind of gives their partners the third degree. So she feels a little bit guilty, like maybe she was a little bit too hard on Miller because Marin, despite being married, still kind of has a thing for him. But anyways, turns out that they are going to be hiking Mount Kilimanjaro together, and she has done zero preparation. So the hero is kind of snarky with her, where he's like trying to tell her what to do because she's unprepared and like look out for her, but also because they kind of have this tenseness to their relationship, it comes across kind of like rude and demanding. So tone-wise, I would say it feels more like maybe like Waking Olivia. The banter's a little less in your face, but nonetheless, like it's still there. There's been a couple of times where I have been finding myself giggling. Like at one point, he's critiquing at the airport, he's kind of critiquing her outfit where he's just like, you're gonna hike Mount Kilimanjaro in your $1,000 sneakers. And she was like, oh yeah, well, I guess you would know a lot about shopping for women's clothing. And then she's like, damn it, I sound like a total transphobe. What the hell? How did I end up here? So the banter is very fun. And I keep kind of like highlighting little sections because it like makes me giggle, or it's just like these kind of like funny little observations. So far, it's been, I think, primarily from the heroine's perspective. I think we've only gotten one chapter from the heroes. Perfect. Loving it. I'm having such a good time with it so far. I feel like it's the perfect blend of contemporary and a little bit of survival. And I'm just loving that little bit of extra tension with the hero and heroine, but also like it's not that serious. Also adding to the tension, our heroine is with someone that she is hoping to get married to, but not in love with, because like I said, she's jaded. That's another complication. So I'm like, things can't possibly get going on this Mount Kilimanjaro trip, right? I don't know. I have a feeling that this is going to be slow burn and that tension's going to be there for a really long time. Either that or Elizabeth O'Rourke is really going to take a left turn and do a cheating romance. Who knows?
Dear Lord, not me forgetting my absolute favorite Elizabeth O'Rourke book, The Summer We Fell, which was entirely a cheating trope. I have no words. That book literally sits on my nightstand and I gaze at it on the regular. Good Lord. Okay, you know what? Out to pasture with me. She's done, guys.
Okay, anyways, that is my update.
Before I go, I do feel the need to prove that he's just vibing out on my foot. He's just decided that he needs to keep my feet warm for some reason while I film. You're such a cuddle bug, aren't you? Such a happy boy. Ooh, I found a spot he likes. All right, that's enough of that. I will see you soon.
Guys, I'm so dumb. I can't stop laughing at myself. Oh my god. Okay, I need to explain. So I was just reading my favorite bad decision. They just got back from hiking Mount Kilimanjaro. We're getting a scene where she's talking about how she's showered and how the water's running brown and she's shaving and she's just feeling so good. And then the next scene, she runs into Miller. He's like, you shaved your hair? You look so much younger without it. And I was like, what the hell? That scene literally just said that she shaved everything but her head. And so I'm like, what did I miss? I mean, what a choice to have a heroine just Britney Spears it. But I was like, but also I was like, I swear she just said that she shaved everything but her head. And so I'm like rereading the scene. I'm like, yeah, that's what it says. I'm like, I can't figure out like when she shaved her head. And then I reread what actually happened in the subsequent scene. He shaved his hair, not her. She still has hair. Oh my god. I was like reading the scene as they're going to dinner. I was like, no one's talking about how she's like bald? Why does this not come up? Everyone's just acting like this is normal. Yeah, it was him. It was him, which is a lot more normal, to be honest. I'm fine. I swear I can read. I swear I'm smart. What a blonde moment for me. Oh, my hairstylist really bleached the brain cells out of me. All right, I'm gonna continue reading and give you an update in a bit. Okay, I need to sit with my stupidity for a little bit longer.
you guys.
Okay, pause. What is with this one eyelash that's doing the absolute most? I had to point it out. I swear it looked like normal eyelashes in real life. I don't know what happened here. Anyways, this is not what we're here for.
I'm now 50% into my favorite bad decision, and I love it. I love it so much. The part that I just slept off on, she is getting back from Tanzania from hiking Mount Kilimanjaro, and their lives don't really overlap that much, so I don't know how things are going to progress because we left it in kind of a tense spot. But our gal also still technically has a boyfriend that may or may not be proposing soon. I love Miller as a hero. Oh my goodness. He is so protective. I think one of my favorite things is her noting all the little ways he will take care of her even when they're fighting. Like, they were bickering kind of back and forth, and he's rolling up her sleeping bag, handing her a candy bar to pack. Like, as they're arguing, he's still taking care of her. What a man. So protective because he knows she's unprepared. And so he's always looking out for her at every turn. Like, literally, I think she would have fallen off this mountain if this man hadn't been there. So the heroine, I really like her because she's kind of like a blend of a lot of previous Elizabeth O'Rourke heroines, or really bantery spitfire type heroines, and the more melancholy, I can never pick the thing I want because of life circumstances. And she's sort of like merged the two, and it is beautiful because it's everything that I want. The heroine, though, keeps talking about how her sister's still like so in love with Miller, and a little part of me is like, girly pop, are you projecting? Is Marin actually still in love with Miller? Or is this the heroine just being so infatuated with him, but she can't admit it? So she's like, well, Marin's really been infatuated with him. There is an almost moment that reminds me so much of The Devil in the Deep Blue Sea. They went hiking in that one and had to share a tent too. And those scenes got me. That scene was the scene that got me. And this book is just that scene drawn out through half a book because they're sharing a tent. And even though I knew it was coming, I knew they were going to be sharing a tent. And then when it happened, I was like, my favorite though has been like, because of the conditions that they're hiking in, they have to change in the tent. There's been a couple of times where we're like, we'll just turn our back. And then Miller was like, when did you get a tattoo? Stop it. Somebody was peeking. Well, they were both peeking, let's be honest. Like I said, at the part that I'm at now, she's just gotten back from Tanzania. I have no idea where the story goes from here. I have so many questions. I don't know the direction for the rest of this. But I feel like this is kind of like Devil in the Deep Blue Sea, where they went on vacation and then they came back after. Oh my gosh, someone really just wants to be in the background of all my shots. Hi, Betty. Look at that little lemur tail. Come by to show everyone how handsome you are. Yeah, I knew it. So Kevin's probably going to be sniffing around and tail's going to be going through some of the shots. But I don't really have much else for you guys right now. I am just loving this. I've really been missing this Elizabeth O'Rourke that's a little bit more bantery, a little bit more like fun, because her previous series was so melancholy. And you know what? She gets me when she does melancholy. So to have something a little bit lighter from her is such a relief because she can only break my heart so many times. Well, that's not true. She can break my heart as much as she wants because I will willingly go into the fire. I am going to continue reading. All right, I just had to pop in really fast. I love how much Miller stands up for Kit in the way that she stands up for other people. It's making me misty-eyed. And also, I love her dad. He's a little schemer. He's also looking out for her. Not in the same way that Miller is, but I kind of love that he's just like protective dad. That's all I have to say. I have finished my favorite bad decision, and what can I say? This dark romance lover is going soft. I loved it. I ate it up. Is it my favorite Elizabeth O'Rourke? No. That still goes to either The Summer We Fell or The Devil in the Deep Blue Sea. Either of those, I reread those on the regular. But I do feel like this had bits and pieces of both of those books that I really, really like, and kind of brought them together into a single book. Right after I last updated you, there was like a little bit of a lull, and normally I would call this out and be like, hey, I kind of feel like there's maybe a little bit of a pacing issue here. But really what was going on during that time was the hero and heroine spending a lot of time together that is uninterrupted. And it kind of puts everything in their life on pause for a little bit. So you can just enjoy them being together and don't have to worry about interruptions or outside influence. And that was really needed because when Elizabeth O'Rourke doesn't do this, then I usually get to the end of her books and go, oh my God, I don't feel like my babies are okay. I don't feel like the hero and heroine are okay. I need to just see like a little bit of time. That's when I really want an epilogue from her, or I'm like scrounging her website, like how do I get a bonus chapter to make sure that they're doing well. The rest of the book, I will say it's very tentative. You kind of feel like there's an expiration date on everything. They don't have things set up so that this can be long term. So the rest of it feels much more tense and a lot more up in the air because of that. So I think that section was needed. I will also note during that time, there was like one chapter, just as a heads up to you guys, because I found this incredibly distracting, that there was like random errors. It said water instead of waiter at one time. And then they were doing an activity where it was clear that they're like looking into the ocean. She said something about tortoises swimming. And I'm like, pretty sure you mean turtles. So there's like little errors like that, but it's only in one chapter. So if you encounter that, like just push through, you're going to be okay. It's just in that one spot. I don't know if that was like a late edition or what happened there, but there was a couple of errors that I was just kind of like, my brain hates it. I have to admit though, this book got me misty-eyed because of how encouraging the hero was. The hero and heroine kind of have that perfect dynamic for me. The heroine's a little bit of a spitfire, a little bit icy. She's got a little bit of her guard up. It's not fully golden retriever black cat, but it gives the feeling of that without being like over the top. And the hero is just like, I'm gonna be what you are to everyone else. I'm gonna be supportive for you. I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna take care of you. And he really encourages her to stand up for herself in a way that she would for other people in her life. Just got to me. Even her dad isn't on page a ton, but you get little like glimpses of where he's being supportive for her, which is something that she really needs. But he kind of goes about it slightly differently because he really gives her the setup to make the choice he knows she wants to make, but lets her come to that decision in her own time and doesn't force her one way or another so that she can actually get what she wants, because he also is very cognizant of the fact that she has sacrificed a lot for her sister and her mother. I also really loved that we got just sparing little glimpses of Miller's perspective. So technically this is POV. POV. Say more about POV, girly. No, so technically this is dual POV. You only get like a handful of chapters. It's just enough to set up who he is in the beginning, and then also when they're separated, that you're getting a little bit of what's going on with him. I am really excited for the next book in this series because I did find out that it is actually interconnected. I thought it was a full standalone. And the characters, I was sniffing this out from early in the book where I was like, hold on, wait a second. And I'm seeing a little something that I don't think I'm supposed to be seeing. And I was right. And I could not be more excited for that next book because I gotta see how this mess gets cleared up because woof, it's gonna be a mess for sure. So that kind of closes things out. So loved Runaways, definitely dark, gory, you are rooting for the villains. Full on, one of the heroes feeds the heroine a spleen from her abusive dad that he's just unalived. So like, proceed with caution with that one. Born for Lace, really, really good installment to that series. I still love the first book more, but Lagos really did come around. I just had to push through a little bit with him. Oh, should I give star ratings? 4.5 stars for Runaways. Probably 4.5 stars or 4 stars for Born for Lace. And for my favorite bad decision, I think I'm gonna give it 5 stars. I really, really did like it. And I haven't had like a 5-star book. I've had a novella, but a book in a hot minute. Your girl's been in a slump. So honestly, this reading vlog went really well. It makes me so happy because these are such anticipated reads for me. To end up loving all of them just makes me so happy. Oh, and since we're here, the update you never requested for things we never got over. That's not, what are you talking about, girl? The Things We Water by Mariana Zapata. So Sam, RIP, she's not dead. She did have to drop off. She was like, I can't do this anymore. I cannot push through. And I was convinced that I just needed to push through. So good news, Lynn from Lynn's Romance Library has taken up the mantle and she's now buddy reading the second half with me. It's still really slow. It's still really cozy. It's probably a little bit too long, but I'm starting to enjoy it more now that I'm like much further in, like 80% in. But you do have to push through like 50% of the book before things really pick up. Just a heads up with that one. But I'm not fully finished, so I don't have final thoughts on that one. But anyway, that's my upcoming and new releases vlog. I would love to hear from you if you plan to pick up any of these books, if you've already picked up these books. I want to hear your thoughts and opinions on them. And also let me know if you've read any new releases recently and what you thought of them. There's been so many lately that I think everyone's so excited about, so I'd love to hear anything that you've picked up recently. And with all that, thank you so much for being here. Don't forget to like this video if you did end up liking it, and don't forget to subscribe if you would like more content from me. And just double check if you think you're already subscribed, just maybe double check, make sure that you are. I don't know why, that sounded very demanding. You don't have to, just stick around if you'd like. Anyway, and I really, really hope I see you on my next video. Bye-bye.